So I want you to take a second and look around your environment right now. If it's your office, if it's at work somewhere, just look around. And I want to tell you right now that the state that your environment in is shaping your behavior. And that's what we're going to talk about today and why it's so important if you have disorder in your environment, why it's so important to fix your small disorders. This quote from Winston Churchill, he said, "First, we shape our environment by setting it up and either taking care of things or not taking care of things. But once we shape our environment, then it begins to shape us." And I'm going to explain to you how this process works and why you want to fix any small disorders that you have in your environment right now. And this is based on an idea. I've talked about this before, but I love this idea, the broken window theory. So there was a 1982 study, and what they found in this 1982 study was that where broken windows exist, crime was higher. So they went into these neighborhoods, and there were these buildings that were just falling apart, and people were breaking the windows. There was graffiti everywhere. And as a result, the neighborhood was terrible. There was chaos. Crime was higher. There was questionable entertainment in these areas. And what they figured out was that the broken windows, this dilapidated environment, if you will, this broken down environment was sending a message or signal to the people that were in that neighborhood that chaos and disorder is normal. No one cares. No one cares about what's going on here. And so guess what? Because nobody cares, you can just do whatever you want, and that's okay. And usually when you leave people, some people with the idea of you can just do whatever you want because no one cares, well, you get higher crime, you get questionable entertainment, you get just things being broken down, and it's just not a healthy environment typically. So what they also found in this study is that when the windows themselves, those broken windows, were fixed, then the environment changed. Okay, they cleaned the graffiti, they fixed the windows. Now the environment was sending out a new signal. And that signal was discipline and order exist here, and they are important. So it's sending out a signal that discipline matters. And because this new signal was being sent out to the neighborhood, so to speak, it led to lower crime, better community, and more peace. So what's the main idea here? The main idea is that your environment, what you're looking at right now, what you're living in, what you're working in, your environment shapes your behavior. Your surroundings shape your behaviors. If your environment is clean and organized, that equals a discipline and positive actions. That's what's going to result. If you see chaos around, and that's your environment, that's sending out a signal that disorder and chaos can exist here. So you can be that kind of person because you're going to fit right in with the neighborhood. In your own little personal neighborhood, whether that's the office, your home, whatever. So clean and organized sends out a signal. Discipline and positive actions, chaos equals disorder and chaos. So let's think about this broken windows in your life. Small disorders in your life send a signal that chaos is acceptable. If you've got piles in your neighborhood, your local neighborhood, your environment, so to speak, if you've got clutter, if you've got sloppiness around you, that is sending a signal to your brain that chaos and a lack of discipline are a-okay here. And it affects your self-discipline, your decision-making, your attitudes. It affects everything you do because your environment shapes your behavior. But you can send out a new message. If this is the message of chaos that your environment is sending your brain, you can change it, okay? You can fix your small disorders. You can send a new signal to your brain that order and discipline exist here. And when you send out this new signal to your brain, then you're going to improve every aspect of your life. That self-discipline, that order is going to enable you to do some amazing things. So how do you practice this? Well, there's a lot of different ways. Here's some basic ways of implementing this and putting into practice what was learned in the broken window theory. And the first one is to eliminate piles. Look around in your environment right now. Do you have piles of books? Well, eliminate those or get them organized. Do you have piles of laundry and clothes, things that are just left out, not hung up? Organize those, get them clean. Do you have piles of mail on your desk or magazines or trash? Is the trash piling up around you? These things need to be eliminated so you can send a new signal that order and discipline exist in your environment. Another thing you can do is you can organize your space. Make your bed every single day. Every single day. That's sending out a signal immediately every day that order exists in your environment. Clean your car. I remember as a young guy, I used to, it was embarrassing, but I was not as really focused on doing these kind of things back then as I am now. But you would open up my car door and just junk would just flow out of my car. And it was embarrassing to some degree, but for some reason I just didn't care. But you know what? My life was a mess too. And you could sit there and say, well, my car's a mess because my life is a mess. Maybe, but look at it from this way. Maybe because your car is a mess and it's disorganized, that may be a contributing factor to why your life is a mess. You've got to send a new signal to your brain. Clean your car, get it organized, make sure that it's neat and orderly so that you're sending out a new signal to your brain. Unclutter your desk. If it's a mess, get it straightened up, especially your desk, because you're working at that typically, if you're like most people, you're at that desk all the time, every day. So it's sending signals to your brain all the time. So you want it to send out a signal of orderliness and discipline. Do the dishes. Don't leave your kitchen a mess. It smells bad. I was a bachelor once. Yes, it does. It's not pleasant. But not only that, it doesn't look good. It's sending a bad signal. So clean up your dishes. Organize your computer desktop. This is going to be a big part of fixing your small disorders. If your desktop looks like somebody threw up a bunch of icons on the desktop, it probably needs organized because it's sending out a signal of chaos. If you have no file system, no folder system for organizing your files, again, it's sending out a signal that you don't want to have. You want to get them organized. So all these things are sending out a signal that order and discipline exist in your environment because your environment shapes your behavior. First, we shape our environment, then our environment shapes us. So think about this idea, fixing your small disorders, put it into practice, and leave a comment down below about how this is affecting your ability to be self-disciplined, maybe some of the ways that you're putting it into practice. I'd love to hear it, all right? So I hope you have an amazing day.